Welcome to HB Reddit Stories. Today we will see stories of r/am I the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for asking my pregnant colleague if she is having a boy or a girl? Today at our weekly team meeting, one of my colleagues announced that she is pregnant and will be going on maternity leave in April. Everyone reacted with congratulations and excitement for her, and I did too. We all told her we're very happy for her and her family and wish her all the best. A few minutes later, I was in the elevator with her and 3 of our other team members, so 5 of us out of a total team of 11 people, on our way back to our desks. Just for the sake of conversation, I asked her if she is having a boy or a girl. Her face kind of fell and she grimly and shortly said boy. I thought it was strange that she reacted like this, but let it go. Then after I was back at my desk, she came up to me and said that my question was inappropriate, that she was planning on announce the gender herself, but I forced her to say it like that in an elevator, so now half of our team knows and it killed the magic. I was honestly really confused and apologized profusely. She lectured me on how I shouldn't be asking personal questions and walked away. I honestly couldn't have thought this was in any way a personal question. Is it too personal? I'm a 24-year-old dude and I don't know anything about pregnant women or babies or social customs, I guess. I was just trying to be friendly. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole. Gender announcements and reveals are only special to the person announcing it, and I feel they've gotten so out of hand. Quite frankly, she could have just said, I'll wait to announce that myself to everyone if you don't mind, but she decided to be petty AF about it, and her being pregnant and hormones isn't an excuse to deflect bad behavior onto you, someone who is being kind asking questions. Don't bother getting her a gift. That's a perfectly appropriate question and she needs to get over herself. It's not like you ruined a family surprise. She could have answered more gracefully, along the lines of we're actually keeping it a secret for everyone, but I'm excited to tell you at the reveal. She made it awkward all by herself, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. That's a completely normal question to ask when someone announces they're pregnant. If she wanted to announce it herself and surprise the team, she could have easily told you she was keeping the gender a surprise for now. Not the a-hole. She could have just said she didn't know yet, or even, oh, we are not telling people yet, we are saving it for the reveal party. She chose to answer the question and then got huffy about you asking instead of being mad at herself. It was a normal question you had a right to ask, she did not have to answer. Next story. Am I the a-hole for having attitude with my mother after she didn't help me when I fainted because she thought I was faking it? Today, I, 15F, was helping my parents and holding up a very heavy object for them when all of a sudden my vision started going black and I thought I was going to throw up. I remember asking my mom, please take this from me, I have to let it go, I don't feel so good. I'm actually sick and I think I'm gonna faint or throw up, I can't see. She probably thinks I fake other illnesses when in reality I just have a stupid weak immune system. So, I proceed to black out on the concrete and come to my senses after some time. This is outside in front of our house where they were working and my mom could clearly see me, not sure how long I was out, probably a few minutes, with my ear and body hurting like hell. I am completely out of it and stumble to a piece of grass 20 or so feet away and conk out again. At this point I thought I was going to throw up. Wake up again to some people walking by and I try to rush inside and lo and behold meet my mother. I say I think I fainted and she just tells me to go aside and cool down, like go lay in the grass. So I just left and it took a while before I felt okay. I also realized a few minutes later I had gotten a pretty significant scrape on my back too. I later confronted her about it, asking why she didn't help me, and she said she thought I was faking it because I didn't want to hold the object up any longer and my fall looked too graceful/slow for it to be real, plus it's the first time this happened. I got mad and started crying because it felt like she didn't care. Now I don't want to talk to her. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Thanks for all the support, guys. My mother apologized but didn't say anything else. Seems like I was out for about a minute on the concrete, not sure how long on the grass though. I believe I fainted due to multiple reasons, just started period, so low iron, took slightly above the limit dose of zinc in some vitamins yesterday, and I have a slight cold. The object was a big door to those who worried if it fell on me, it didn't. I feel fine now, I probably won't go to doctor. Thank you all, your comments help. Another edit. Convinced my mother to set up an appointment after some pushing. she tells me it will be nothing though. Top comments. Not the a-hole, and please go see a doctor. It's not normal to feel faint from just lifting something heavy. It could be something as simple as anemia, but it could also be much worse. Better to get it diagnosed sooner rather than later. Also, your mom is terrible. If she's just as dismissive when you ask to go to the doctor as she was about this incident, tell an adult you trust about this and see if they'll take you. Your dad, a relative, a teacher, a friend's parent, really anyone will do as long as you trust them and they take you seriously. Not the a-hole. How can someone call themselves a mom and not be worried about her own daughter's health and safety? I am so sorry you had to go through this. OMG NTA, former NP here, now disabled with POTS, please Google dysautonomia and POTS, sounds like possible cause but this is just the internet. However, the rule of thumb is that any episode of syncope, fainting, gets a full cardiac and neuro workup. One possible cause is cardiac arrhythmia, think of teen athletes with sudden cardiac arrest. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's imperative you get seen ASAP for evaluation. I would go to emergency today, there are labs and imaging that urgent care and outpatient simply cannot get run. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling mom I will buy my own dress after she called me fat? Hi. I, 19F, have a wedding to attend that is of some friends of my boyfriend. My mom, 51F, offered to help me get ready. For context, my mom is gorgeous. She used to model, she has always been incredibly beautiful and she has an awesome body. My two brothers, 33 and 31M, take after her, and are both handsome men. I am the only daughter, and as such, I think she expected someone like her. I am not like her. I was very thin when I was a kid, but I was a tomboy and hated everything feminine. Then puberty hit, and I gained a lot of weight. I'm not obese, but I am your average chubby person. 77 kilograms at 165 centimeters, overweight but not overly so I guess. Also, I don't look a lot after myself in the sense that I don't really go out of my way to do skincare, makeup, etc. I love my mom, and she does truly love me, but she isn't a kind person. All through my teenage years, she made a lot of harsh comments about my appearance and my weight. I'm a sensitive person, so this used to affect me a lot. I can usually take criticism fairly enough if it's phrased nicely, but I can't take it if there's even a hint of mockery or meanness in it. Anyway, it's not that big of a deal now. Years back I was honest with mom that her comments really affected my self-esteem and she seemed to tone it down. Occasionally she will still do it but not often. She just can't help herself, I think, it's her way of showing love but it makes me hate myself. When I'm next to her she will scan my face for pimples and if she finds one she will actively ignore me to pop them, or I will be doing something alone and she will come over to comment that my hair looks bad and I need to use this different product, or I will be walking and she will comment that my belly is large and I should go to the gym. Things like that, I know they aren't bad but I can't take it. To the situation at hand, she was giving me dresses to use to the wedding. We have always shared dresses, so this isn't news. One of the dresses she lent me was one that she used 2 years ago at my graduation. I put it on, and it was pretty tight. Her and my aunt tried to force it to close but it was struggling. I said that they should stop but they continued to force it and the zipper basically broke down completely. When it happened, my mom blurted out, "Wow, you really are fat." My aunt bursted out laughing and started teasing me about being chubby. I just kept silent. We tried on a few more dresses, I chose a pretty one that fit well and was elastic, and that was that. Then, afterwards, my mom asked me if I really had been going to the gym and said that I would have to suck in my belly during the wedding so it didn't show so much in the dress I picked. I got fed up and told her that I was sick of her comments, and would buy my own dress to go. Mom thinks I blew up at her for nothing and am about to spend money over a tantrum. My siblings think I'm being dramatic and that I'm just mad I'm fat. My friends and boyfriend think I'm right. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole. You are an adult now. You have mistakenly convinced yourself that you set a boundary and that toning it down was good enough. Boundaries aren't cross my line less. Boundaries are don't cross my line at all ever. You need to make that clear. Years back you negotiated your boundary as a child. It's time to do it again, as an adult. Opie replies. Thank you for the judgment. Yeah, it's just kind of hard to set hard boundaries when it comes to parents. Not the a-hole. Your mom is not just mean but insecure. She likely is trying to compete with you, intentionally or not, and feeling jealous, because you will always have something she doesn't. You're significantly younger than her. In her mind, she almost always hears that tagline, for her age, whenever someone calls her beautiful. While I don't believe that age is garbage, shallow people like her almost always do. So she likely feels compelled to point out your flaws to make herself feel better, because her own happiness and self-esteem are worth more to her than the side effect of hurting you. Plus, keeping your self-esteem low makes you less of a competitor in her eyes. My own background and relationship with my mom are very similar, so these are just conclusions I've reached over the years. Look, I grew up in a similar situation. Gorgeous mom, sister, and brother. I was always the ugly, chubby/fat duckling. My mom would occasionally make comments and try to put me on diets from the age of 10. When I was old enough, I crapped that down and only allowed her to comment from a health perspective. I would never have accepted this kind of mockery you described from my mother. This was something that I established early on, and she understood that it was a big no from me. However, when I got really obese, she sat down with me and had an honest conversation that led me to seek help to lose the weight in a healthy way. She would eventually comment on my skin and hair as well, but she would take me to doctors to try to solve what bothered me. I come from a culture of extremely vain people where cosmetic procedures and extreme dieting are considered normal, so I understand why my appearance bothered her. You are hardly obese, and if you are healthy and happy with yourself, then that's what matters. Don't allow anyone to make you hate yourself or to make you feel less worthy. This is the only body you get, and it's the one that allows you to experience all the things in this world. If it is big or small is irrelevant. Be grateful for it and protect yourself. Sending you lots of love. Opie replies. Thank you for your thoughtful response. Yes, my culture is very centered around specifically women's bodies, so I understand why she is this way. I'm not particularly worried about my body. I usually actually feel pretty, except when my mom comments on it. It would be cool to get more fit, which is why I go to the gym, but I would prefer that any improvement come from me working hard and genuinely seeking a goal for my own happiness than from my mom shaming me into not eating, lol. Next story. Am I the a-hole for walking my dog in front of a hunter in their tree stand on my parents' land? I'm in the Midwest and don't hunt. Don't mind when people do, though. My parents allow friends to hunt on their land. I walk my dog on the same loop every day. They hunt on this loop. We wear bright reflective clothing and never feel in danger. Switching our route could disorient my dog. She is off leash. My parents don't care if I'm there. They know it's the only place my dog can get exercise. But the hunters get pissed like I'm supposed to see to them this time of year, and I screw up their hunt when I walk by. I feel like if my dog is a problem, they can go somewhere else. Edit, I should have been more clear when I said it's the only place I can exercise her. It's the only place I can efficiently exercise her. She is a very large young puppy, 110 pounds. She has more freedom to run off leash out there. We do 3 miles. If I try to get the same amount of energy out of her on leash, we have to do 6 to 7 miles. Which isn't realistic time-wise. If you've ever walked a 110 pounds dog on a leash, you would prefer doing it off leash on private land, I promise. Also, we aren't randomly walking through woods. The trail is 8 feet wide the entire length, and she knows to stay on it. Update, I took the advice of many of you and brought it up to my parents. They were not happy with the hunters' behavior. The hunters were allowed there out of kindness, nothing else. My parents decided to not allow hunting any longer. I was open to a compromise, but this decision is what made them feel best. Thank you for your input. Back to our walk. Top comments. Not the a-hole, but I would have a talk with your parents about the situation. Opie replies. Yeah, I didn't want to have to involve them, but I think you're right. I would never walk my dog in front of people with guns. And off leash. Jesus. Not the a-hole. I'd just go to my parents and tell them, hey, your friend X gets pissed when I go walk our dog on the usual loop even though it's our land and they're using it, would you mind telling them to knock it off and that it's just a part of hunting on our land? And for future people, just tell them that's a stipulation. Dependent on how supportive your parents are, of course, but since they're their friends and it's their land, I feel like you need them to mediate, since you just walking up to them would probably just result in a screaming match. Get your parents behind you and establish that boundary. In the end, they're using foreign land to hunt. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my brother pay off his debt after he tried to publicly shame me? I, 19F, started a new job recently and saved up quite a bit of money over the past year. My family was proud of me, but my older brother, 25M, immediately started making comments like, "You're finally rolling in cash, so I guess you can help your family now." He has always been bad with money, mostly from wasting it on gambling and unnecessary purchases. Last week, he asked me for $3,000 to help pay off his credit card debt. He said he needed it to avoid getting into more trouble. I told him no, because I've seen how he handles money, and I don't trust him to use it wisely. He got mad and called me selfish, saying I was being unfair since I don't have any big expenses right now. It didn't stop there. A few days later, he went on social media and posted a rant about how I was hoarding money while my own family struggled. He even called me a bad sister for refusing to help. Now some family members are saying I should just lend him the money to avoid more drama, but I don't think I should have to pay for his mistakes. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole, because that loan that your family mentioned wouldn't be a loan, would it now? And if your family are so bothered by your brother's financial situation, they can help him with their money and not yours. OP replies. You're so right, calling it a loan feels like a joke, because there's no way I'd ever see that money again. If my family feels so strongly about helping him, they're welcome to step up themselves. Thanks for pointing that out. A 25-year-old man trying to shame his 19-year-old sister into lending him money? P.S. You will never see that money again if you do. Don't do this, OP, it's going to set up a situation where he constantly hits you up for money, not the a-hole. OP replies. Thank you for saying that. I've thought the same thing, it wouldn't just stop at this loan. Helping him now would just set a precedent for him to keep coming back for more. I'm not willing to go down that road. Next story. Am I the a-hole for what I said to my aunt? I, 21, bought my cousin, 16, a romance novel as a birthday present. It's part of her favorite book series. My aunt took one look at the book cover, snorted and said, "No way a fat girl like her gets a cute boy like him." My cousin looked down at her own body. She has always been self-conscious and confided in me that she wishes she were as slender as her sisters/my other cousins. Told me her mom/my aunt told her she should lose weight. She looked at me the way she does when she is at a loss for words and wants me to help out, so I told my aunt, not everyone is shallow. My aunt got upset and my mom told me I should apologize and that there was no reason for me to imply that my aunt is shallow. Top comments. Not the a-hole, your aunt is a jerk. If the comment hurt her so bad, it's probably because it's true. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel HB Reddit Stories.